Captain Jake Morrison looked out at the stars through the bridge windows of the U.E.'s horizon. The ship had been traveling for 3 months to reach the Kepler 442 system. Jake was tired but excited. His crew was searching for new worlds where humans could live and build cities. "Captain, we're getting some interesting readings from the third planet," said Lieutenant Amy Foster. She was the ship's science officer and had been studying the planet for 2 days. "The air is good for humans to breathe. There's water everywhere. And the weather looks perfect." Jake walked over to Amy's station. The screen showed a beautiful blue and green world. White clouds moved slowly across the surface. It looked almost exactly like Earth, but with no cities or lights on the dark side. "Any signs of life?" Jake asked. "Lots of plants and animals, but nothing that looks smart," Amy replied. "I've scanned the whole planet 3 times. No cities, no technology, no radio signals. It's like a perfect Earth that nobody lives on." Jake smiled. This was what Earth needed. Back home, there were too many people and not enough space. The oceans were getting dirty, and the air in the big cities was hard to breathe. New worlds like this one could save humanity. "Send a message to Earth," Jake told his communications officer, Lieutenant Ben Carter. "Tell them we found paradise." Meanwhile, on Earth, Admiral Lisa Carter sat in her office at the Colonial Development Authority. She was Jake's older sister, but she tried not to think about that when she read his reports. Her job was to find new homes for humans, and she was very good at it. The message from Jake made her heart race. A perfect world with no intelligent life meant humans could move there without problems. She immediately called President Nancy Wells. "We need to move fast," Lisa told the president. "If this planet is as good as Jake says, we can start moving people there in 6 months." President Wells agreed. Within hours, the government began preparing the colony ships. The U.E.S. New Beginning was chosen to carry the first 50,000 colonists. Families all over Earth started, selling their homes and belongings to buy tickets to the new world. But something was watching from the darkness of space, not far beyond human sensors. Alien ships waited in the cold void. They belonged to the Galactic Council, a group of advanced alien races that controlled this part of the galaxy. The Council had been watching humans for 50 years, ever since Earth first sent ships to other star systems. Ambassador Zefkar of the Veltar hegemony stood in the council chambers. He was tall and thin, with gray skin and 4 arms. His people had controlled space trade for thousands of years, and they did not like competition. "The humans have found Kepler 442c," Zefkar told the other council members. "They plan to colonize it." The council chamber was filled with beings from dozens of different worlds. Some looked like giant insects, others like walking trees, and some were just clouds of gas in metal suits. But they all shared one thing in common. They did not want humans spreading through the galaxy. "We must stop them," said War Commander Vex Moore of the Kilithan Empire. His species looked like armored lizards and loved to fight. "Humans are dangerous. They reproduce too fast and they fight too much." Zefkar nodded. "I have prepared evidence that Kepler 442c is a sacred world. The Zephyrians used it as a burial ground before they went extinct. According to council law, no one can colonize sacred worlds." The evidence was completely false. The Zephyrians had never even visited that system, but the council members did not care. They voted unanimously to ban human colonization of the planet. "Should we tell the humans about this law?" asked a young council member. "No," Zefkar replied with a cold smile. "Let them come. When they arrive, we will destroy them for breaking our laws. It will teach all humans to stay in their own system." Back on Earth, Dr. Amy Foster was working late in her laboratory. She was not related to the Amy Foster on Jake's ship, It was just a coincidence that they had the same name. This Amy was a xenobiologist who studied alien life forms. Her deep space monitoring equipment had been picking up strange signals for weeks. The signals were clearly artificial. They had patterns that only intelligent beings could make. But they were coming from the direction of the Kepler 442 system. Amy tried to tell her superiors about the signals, but they were too busy preparing for the colonization mission. "You're probably just picking up interference from our own ships," her boss told her. "Don't worry about it." But Amy was worried. The signals were getting stronger, and they were definitely not human. She decided to keep monitoring them on her own time. On the UES horizon, Jake Morrison was preparing to return to Earth. His job was done. The planet had been surveyed and marked as safe for human colonization. He had no idea that alien eyes were watching his every move. "Captain, should we leave a monitoring station in orbit?" asked Lieutenant Amy Foster. Jake thought about it. "No, we need to get back to Earth quickly. The sooner we report, the sooner people can start new lives here." The U's horizon left the system, heading back toward Earth. Behind them, the beautiful planet waited in silence. It truly was perfect for human life. But the aliens watching from the darkness had other plans. As Jake's ship traveled through hyperspace, Zethkar was already putting his plan into motion. Council warships began moving toward Kepler 442c. They would wait there, hidden from human sensors, until the colony ships arrived. The trap was set. 50,000 innocent humans were about to walk into the deadliest deception in human history. The UES New Beginning was the largest ship humanity had ever built. It was 3 miles long and carried 50,000 people who had given up everything for a chance at a new life. Captain Rick Barnes stood on the bridge, watching the beautiful planet grow larger on the screen. 6 months of travel, and we're finally here, he said to his crew. Let's make history. In the passenger sections, families were getting ready for their new lives. Engineer Paul Watson packed his tools and blueprints. He planned to build the first power station on the new world. His wife Susan was teaching their 2 children about the plants and animals they would see. Teacher Mary Collins was looking forward to starting the first school on the planet. She had boxes full of books and supplies. Her students would be the first human children to grow up under an alien sun. "Attention all passengers," Captain Barnes announced over the ship's speakers. "We are beginning our approach to New Eden. Please prepare for landing procedures." The colonists cheered. After months in the cramped ship, they were ready to breathe fresh air and feel real dirt under their feet. They pressed against the windows, trying to get their first look at their new home. But they were not alone in the system. Hidden behind New Eden's 3 moons, the Galactic Council's war fleet waited. War Commander Thexmore stood in the command center of his flagship, the Devastator. His lizard-like face showed no emotion as he watched the human ship approach. "The humans are following the same path as always," reported his tactical officer. "They are not scanning for threats. They think they are safe." Thexmore had destroyed many civilizations in his career. He had burned entire worlds and killed billions of beings. But he had never fought humans before. He had heard stories about their violence, but he thought they were exaggerated. "All ships, prepare for attack," he ordered. "We will destroy them quickly and completely. No survivors." On the New Beginning, Captain Barnes was feeling proud. His ship was about to deliver 50,000 people to safety. He had no idea that death was watching from the darkness. "Captain, I'm getting some strange readings," said Lieutenant Kate Lewis, the communications officer. "There's something behind the 3rd moon, but I can't tell what it is." Barnes looked at the readings. Probably just interference from the moons. Magnetic field. Nothing to worry about. Kate was not convinced. She had been a communications officer for 10 years. and she knew the difference between interference and something real. She kept scanning, trying to get a better look at whatever was hiding behind the moon. Suddenly, her screen exploded with contacts. Dozens of large objects were moving out from behind the moons. They were clearly artificial, and they were heading straight for the new beginning. "Captain!" Kate shouted. "We have multiple contacts approaching fast. They're not human ships." Barnes spun around to look at her screen. His face went pale. The objects were huge, much larger than any human ship, and they were clearly built for war. "Red alert," Barnes ordered. "All hands to battle stations," but it was too late. The new beginning was a colony ship, not a warship. It had no weapons and very weak shields. It was designed to carry families safely through space, not to fight. The Council fleet opened fire without any warning. Energy beams and missiles struck the new beginning from every direction. The ship's shields failed in seconds. The hull began to crack and tear. "Shields down," reported the tactical officer. "We're taking heavy damage on all decks." Barnes grabbed the ship's microphone. "All hands, abandon ship. This is not a drill. Get to the escape pods now." Throughout the ship, alarms were screaming. Families ran through the corridors, carrying their children and trying to reach the escape pods. Paul Watson helped his wife and children into Pod 47, then kissed them goodbye. "I'll be right behind you." He lied. He knew someone had to stay and help others escape. Mary Collins was helping children into Pod 52 when the ship shook violently. The lights went out, and she could hear the sound of tearing metal. She pushed the last child into the pod and closed the door, but there was no room for her. Captain Barnes stayed on the bridge, trying to launch as many pods as possible. He watched his beautiful ship falling apart around him. Through the windows, he could see the alien ships. They were dark and angular, like they were built for killing. "Pod 23 away," reported Kate Lewis. "Pod 24 away. Pod 25 is damaged and won't launch." Barnes hit the manual release for Pod 25. It shot out of the ship just as that section exploded. He hoped the people inside would survive. The new beginning broke in half. The front section, where Barnes and his crew were, spun away from the rest of the ship. Through the windows, Barnes could see the escape pods scattered across space like seeds in the wind. For a moment, he felt hope. Maybe some of his people would survive. Maybe they would reach the planet and tell Earth what had happened. Then he saw the alien ships turning toward the escape pods. "No," Barnes whispered. "They're civilians. They're not soldiers." But War Commander Dex Moore did not care. His orders were clear. No survivors. A Council fleet began hunting down the escape pods one by one. Each pod was destroyed with a single shot. Pod 47, carrying Paul Watson's family, was vaporized in a flash of light. Pod 52, with Mary Collins and the children, exploded in silence. One by one, the pods were destroyed. On the planet's surface, Commander Steve Grant and his advanced team watched the horror through their telescopes. They had landed 3 days earlier to prepare landing sites for the colonists. Now they were watching 50,000 people die in space. "Get a message to Earth," Grant ordered his communications officer. "Tell them what happened. Tell them we're all going to die." The message was sent just as the orbital bombardment began. The alien ships fired down at the planet, turning the surface into glass. Commander Grant and his team were vaporized instantly, but one person survived. Communications officer Kate Lewis had been thrown from the bridge when the ship exploded. She fell toward the planet in a damaged escape pod, unconscious and bleeding. Her pod crashed in a deep canyon that protected it from the orbital bombardment. When she woke up, she was alone on a dead world. Everything was burned and lifeless. Kate activated. her emergency beacon and began recording her final message to Earth. She was dying from her injuries, but she had to tell humanity what had happened. "This is Kate Lewis of the UES New Beginning," she said into the recorder. "We were attacked without warning by alien ships. They killed everyone. 50,000 people. Children, families, teachers, workers. All dead." She looked up at the sky, where the alien ships were still circling like vultures. "They murdered us all," she whispered. "And they're going to do it again unless someone stops them." The message reached Earth 3 days later. When the government received it, everything changed. The age of peaceful exploration was over. The age of war had begun. President Nancy Wells sat in the White House Situation Room, staring at the screen with tears in her eyes. The recording from Kate Lewis played for the third time. The dying woman's voice was weak but clear as she described the murder of 50,000 innocent people. "They came without warning," Kate's voice said through the speakers. "No communication, no demands, no mercy. They just killed everyone." General Frank Powell slammed his fist on the table. "We have to respond. We can't let this stand." "With what?" asked Admiral Lisa Carter. "Our fleet is mostly exploration ships and light patrol vessels. We don't have warships that can fight whatever destroyed the New Beginning." The room fell silent. Everyone knew she was right. Humanity had built its space fleet for peaceful purposes. The biggest weapons they had were mining lasers and construction tools. "There has to be something," President Wells said quietly. "Some way to fight back." Dr. Helen Cruz, the head of the Historical Archives Division, had been quiet during the meeting. Now she stood up slowly, her face pale. "There is something," she said, "but it's classified at the highest levels. I need permission to access files." "From the early space program." President Wells nodded. "You have it. Whatever we need to know, tell us." Helen walked to the secure computer terminal and entered her access codes. Ancient files began appearing on the screen. Files that had been sealed for over a century. "When humanity first went to space, we were not as peaceful as we are now," Helen began. "The early space pioneers remembered Earth's history. They knew that space might be dangerous. So they built something in secret." The screen showed blueprints for massive warships. Ships designed not for exploration, but for destruction. "The Primeval fleet," Helen continued. 200 warships built in secret bases throughout the outer solar system. They were designed for one purpose: to protect humanity from exactly what just happened. General Powell leaned forward. "Where are these ships now?" "Hidden in asteroid bases, powered down and waiting." The project was classified after the first peaceful contact with the Centauri colonies. The government decided that warships sent the wrong message about humanity's intentions. "But they still exist?" "President," Wells asked. Helen nodded. "The ships are still there, maintained by automated systems. But there's only one person who knows all the base locations." She brought up a personnel file. The picture showed an older man with gray hair and hard eyes. Admiral Tony Rodriguez. He was the fleet commander before the project was shut down. He's been retired for 20 years, but he's still alive. President Wells stood up. "Find him, bring him here, now." 2 hours later, Tony Rodriguez sat in the same chair where Helen had given her briefing. He was 70 years old, but he still looked like a soldier. His eyes were cold as he watched Kate Lewis's recording. "I told them this would happen," he said when the recording ended. "I told them that space was dangerous, that we needed to be ready to fight. They called me a warmonger." "The ships, Tony," President Wells said. "Do they still work?" Rodriguez smiled grimly. "They're not just ships, Madam President. They're weapons of war, built by humans who remembered what it took to survive on Earth. They're waiting for exactly this moment." How long to get them operational? The ships can be powered up in hours. But we'll need crews. And these aren't exploration vessels. They're built for killing. General Powell stepped forward. We'll find volunteers. After what happened to the new beginning, every person in the military will want to fight. It won't be easy, Rodriguez warned. The Primeval fleet was built using technology that your current military would consider illegal. Weapons that can crack planets. AI systems that can think faster than any human. Ships that can repair themselves in battle. President Wells looked around the room. What choice do we have? We can't let them murder our people and do nothing. Rodriguez stood up. Then we go to war. Real war. Not the kind where we try to minimize casualties or follow rules. The kind where we destroy our enemies completely so they can never hurt us again. Within hours, the secret bases began powering up. In the asteroid belt, massive doors opened. In what looked like ordinary rocks. Inside, the ships of the Primeval fleet awakened from their long sleep. The flagship was the U.E.'s Vengeance, a massive dreadnought 3 times the size of the new beginning. Its hull was black as space, and its weapons could destroy entire fleets. Commander Greg Turner, a veteran of the Mars colonies, took command. This is not a rescue mission, Rodriguez told the assembled crews over the communication system. This is not a police action. This is war, total war. We're going to find whoever killed our people, and we're going to destroy them. The crews were all volunteers. Many had lost friends or family on the new beginning. They came from every branch of the military. United by anger and the need for revenge, Dr. Linda Shaw activated the ship's AI systems. These were not the helpful, peaceful A is used on exploration ships. These were war machines, designed to find the best way to kill enemies as quickly as possible. Primary directive confirmed. The AI of the Vengeance announced. Protect humanity. Destroy all threats. No mercy. The AI began analyzing every piece of data about the attack. It studied the alien ships, their weapons, their tactics. Within minutes, it had developed 17 different ways to kill them. Captain Ben Foster took command of the destroyer UESS Retribution. His job was to find the alien fleet and learn everything about them. He had been an intelligence officer before joining the Primeval fleet, and he knew how to hunt. We're not the same humans who sent out exploration ships, he told his crew. We're the humans who survived ice ages and plagues and wars. We're the humans who climbed to the top of the food chain on a planet that tried to kill us every day. The fleet began moving out of the solar system. 200 ships, each one designed to kill. They moved in perfect formation, like predators hunting in a pack. On Earth, the news of the attack had leaked to the public. Riots broke out in major cities. People demanded revenge for the murdered colonists. The peaceful era of space exploration was over. In the Galactic Council chambers, Ambassador Zeth Carr received reports of unusual activity in the human solar system. Energy readings suggested that humans were preparing something big. They're probably building more colony ships, he told War Commander Lexmore. Humans are too stupid to understand that they've been defeated. Lexmore was not so sure. His ships had captured some human technology during the attack on the new beginning. The humans were more advanced than the Council had thought. Maybe we should send a message to their government, he suggested. Tell them to stay in their own system or face destruction. Zeth Carr laughed. Why? They have no weapons that can hurt us. Let them come. We'll destroy them like we destroyed the others. But in the darkness of space, the Primeval fleet was already moving. 150 years of human anger and fear had been poured into these ships. They carried the fury of a species that had fought its way to the top of the food chain. The aliens had awakened something that had been sleeping. Now it was coming for them, and nothing in the galaxy would be able to stop it. The asteroid belt had kept humanity's deadliest secret for over a century. Hidden inside hollowed-out rocks, the Primeval fleet waited in the cold darkness. These were not the peaceful ships that explored the galaxy. These were instruments of war, built by humans who remembered what it took to survive. Commander Greg Turner stood on the bridge of the UES Vengeance, watching his crew prepare for battle. The ship was massive, bigger than any human vessel ever built. Its hull was black, as the space around it, and its weapons could turn entire worlds into dust. "All systems online, Commander," reported Lieutenant Sam Parker, the weapons officer. "The main guns are charged and ready." Turner nodded. The main guns were not like anything the current human military used. They fired concentrated energy beams that could cut through the strongest alien armor. Each shot carried enough power to destroy a city. "Communications, connect me to the fleet," Turner ordered. The face of Admiral Tony Rodriguez appeared on the screen. He was aboard the UES Devastator, another massive warship. Around him, the bridges of 200 ships glowed with combat lighting. "All ships report ready for hyperspace jump," Rodriguez announced. "We have the location of the alien fleet from our intelligence division. They're waiting in the Kepler 442 system, probably expecting more colony ships." Turner felt a cold smile cross his face. The aliens had no idea what was coming for them. The ships had been built using technology that Earth's current government would never approve. The AI systems were designed to think like predators, constantly searching for the best way to kill enemies. The weapons were built to cause maximum destruction. The hulls were designed to repair themselves during battle. Dr. Linda Shaw had created the AI systems during the early days of space exploration. She had been a young scientist then, fresh from studying Earth's deadliest predators. She had given the ships the instincts of sharks and the intelligence of humans. "Aria Online," the ship's AI announced. Aria stood for Adaptive Response Intelligence. Agent, but the crew called her something else, the Angel of Death. Aria, analyze the alien ships from the New Beginning attack, Turner ordered. The AI's voice was calm and emotionless. Analysis complete. Enemy ships are larger than human vessels, but use predictable tactics. They rely on overwhelming firepower rather than strategy. Weakness identified. They do not expect resistance. Turner looked at the tactical display. The alien ships were built like hammers, big, strong, and designed to smash weaker opponents. But they had never faced humans who were ready to fight back. Captain Ben Foster commanded the UES Retribution, a destroyer built for speed and stealth. His job was to scout ahead and gather intelligence about the enemy. He had been watching the alien fleet for 2 days, hidden behind a moon. "They're not even trying to hide," he reported to the fleet. 47 ships in standard formation. "They think they're safe." The alien fleet was indeed confident. War Commander Thexmore sat in his command chair, bored. His ships had been waiting for weeks, hoping more human ships would arrive so they could destroy them. "Commander, we're detecting some kind of disturbance in hyperspace," reported his sensor officer. "Multiple contacts approaching." Thexmore leaned forward. "How many?" Scanning. "Commander, this doesn't make sense. I'm reading over 200. Contacts, all large, all moving in formation." Thexmore stood up quickly. Humans didn't have 200 large ships. They barely had 20 ships in their entire fleet. "Sound general quarters," he ordered. "All ships to battle stations." The human fleet dropped out of hyperspace like a pack of wolves. They appeared in perfect formation, surrounding the alien ships. The UES Vengeance took the center position, its massive guns already charging. "This is Admiral Rodriguez of the United Earth Space Fleet," came the broadcast to all alien ships. "You murdered 50,000 innocent people. You destroyed families, children, teachers, workers. You thought we were weak and helpless. The alien ships began moving into attack formation, but they were slow and clumsy compared to the human vessels. You were wrong, Rodriguez continued. You awakened something that should have stayed sleeping. Now you're going to pay for what? You did. Dexmore tried to respond, but the human ships opened fire before he could speak. The space around New Eden erupted in violence. The human weapons were unlike anything the aliens had seen. Instead of simple energy beams, they fired adaptive munitions that changed their attack pattern based on the target's defenses. The AI systems coordinated the attack, making sure every shot counted. The U's Vengeance fired its main guns at the alien flagship. The beams cut through the ship's shields like they were paper. The hull began to crack and burn. Impossible. Dexmore shouted. How do they have weapons like this? His tactical officer was frantically working at his console. Sir, their ships are using technology we've never seen. The weapons adapt to our defenses. The ships are repairing damage faster than we can cause it. The human destroyers moved like dancers, dodging alien fire while unleashing their own weapons. The UES Retribution destroyed 3 alien cruisers in the first minute of battle, but the humans' most terrifying weapon was still to come. Release the hunters, Admiral Rodriguez ordered. From the bellies of the human ships, thousands of small objects launched into space. They looked like metal insects, each one about the size of a car. These were the hunter-killer drones, AI-controlled weapons that could think and learn. The drones swarmed toward the alien ships like angry bees. When the aliens shot one down, the others learned from its death and became harder to kill. When they found a weakness in an alien ship, they all attacked the same spot. They're everywhere, screamed an alien pilot. I can't shake them. The drones were not just weapons. They were evolution in action. Each one that died made the others stronger. They adapted to alien tactics in real time, becoming more deadly with each passing second. War Commander Dexmore watched his fleet being torn apart. In 10 minutes, he had lost half his ships. The humans were not just winning. They were destroying everything with terrifying efficiency. Send a surrender signal, he ordered. Sir? His communications officer asked, shocked. Send it now, Dexmore shouted, before they kill us all. But the humans were not interested in surrender. They had come for revenge, and they were going to get it. The UES Vengeance fired its final shot at the alien flagship. The beam cut the ship in half, and Dexmore died in the explosion. The war commander who had killed 50,000 humans was gone in a flash of light. When the battle was over, the alien fleet was completely destroyed. Not a single ship escaped. The space around New Eden was filled with floating wreckage and the bodies of aliens who had thought humans were weak. Admiral Rodriguez stood on his bridge, looking at the destruction. His fleet had not lost a single ship. The aliens had been completely outmatched. Arya, scan for any survivors, he ordered. No alien life signs detected, the AI replied. All enemy vessels destroyed. Mission parameters achieved. Rodriguez felt no satisfaction in the victory. The aliens were dead, but the 50,000 humans were still gone. Nothing could bring them back. Set course for the Galactic Council. Homeworld, he ordered. We're not finished yet. The Primeval fleet began moving deeper into alien space. They had awakened from their long sleep, and now they were hunting. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humans were pushed too far. The Galactic Council homeworld had never seen war. For 10,000 years, it had been the center of a peaceful empire that controlled hundreds of star systems. The planet was covered in beautiful cities and parks, where aliens from different worlds lived together in harmony. That peace was about to end. They Primeval fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system like a storm made of metal and fire. 200 human warships appeared in perfect formation, their black holes reflecting the light of the alien sun. Supreme Chancellor Kolfek stood in the council chambers, staring at the tactical display in disbelief. The humans had traveled across the galaxy to reach them. Their ships were larger and more advanced than anything in the council's records. "How is this possible?" he asked Ambassador Zethkar. "You said the humans were primitive. You said they had no warships." Zethkar's gray skin had turned pale. "They didn't. Our intelligence was perfect. They only had exploration ships and civilian vessels." "Then what are those?" Kolfak pointed at the screen, where the human fleet was taking position around the planet. Before Zethkar could answer, a transmission came through on all council frequencies. The face of Admiral Tony Rodriguez appeared on every screen in the system. "Citizens of the Galactic Council," Rodriguez said, his voice cold and hard. "I am Admiral Rodriguez of the United Earth Space Fleet. Your military forces murdered 50,000 innocent humans. Men, women, and children who had done nothing wrong." In the council chambers, panic began to spread. Many of the council members had never seen a human before. They looked at Rodriguez's weathered face and saw something that terrified them. Absolute determination. "We demand the immediate surrender of all council military forces," Rodriguez continued. "We want the beings responsible for the massacre to be handed over for justice. You have 1 hour to comply." Kolfak activated the response system. "Admiral Rodriguez, I am Supreme Chancellor Kolfak. Perhaps we can discuss the situation calmly. There must be some misunderstanding." Rodriguez's expression did not change. "The only misunderstanding was yours. You thought we were weak. You thought we would accept the murder of our people and do nothing. You were wrong." "But surely we can reach some kind of agreement," Kolfak pleaded. "The Council has always been committed to peace." "Your commitment to peace didn't stop you from killing 50,000 humans," Rodriguez replied. "Your hour starts now." The transmission ended, leaving the Council in chaos. Representatives from dozens of worlds argued and shouted, trying to decide what to do. Some wanted to fight, others wanted to surrender, and most were simply afraid. The Council's military fleet was the largest in the galaxy. 500 ships protected the homeworld, including massive dreadnoughts that had never been defeated. Admiral Kekstar, the Council's military commander, was confident they could defeat the humans. "We outnumber them more than 2 to 1, he told the Council. "And our ships are the most advanced in the galaxy. These primitive humans don't stand a chance." But Admiral Kekstar had not seen the recordings of the battle at New Eden. He did not know what the Primeval fleet could do. Commander Greg Turner stood on the bridge of the UE's Vengeance, watching the alien fleet move into position. The Council ships were beautiful, sleek and silver, with elegant curves and graceful lines. They looked like works of art. "They're going to fight," reported Lieutenant Sam Parker. "All Council ships are powering weapons and moving to attack." "Formation," Turner nodded. He had hoped they would surrender, but he was not surprised they wanted to fight. Most species did not understand how dangerous humans could be until it was too late. "Signal the fleet," he ordered. "Execute battle plan. Alpha. Show them what humans are really like." The hour passed with no surrender from the Council. Rodriguez gave the order to attack. The human fleet moved like a school of deadly fish, each ship coordinated with all the others. The AI systems shared information instantly, creating a perfect tactical network. When one ship found a weakness, all the others knew about it immediately. The Council fleet attacked in the traditional way, massive formations of ships firing at long range. It was the kind of battle they had fought for centuries, slow and formal like a dance. The humans fought like wild animals. The UEC Vengeance fired its main guns at the Council flagship. The beams cut through the ship's shields and hull, causing massive explosions. The ship began to break apart, and Admiral Kekstar died in the first minute of battle. But the humans' most terrifying weapon was their adaptability. The Council ships used energy shields that could stop most weapons. The human AI systems analyzed the shield frequency and adjusted their weapons to penetrate them. Within minutes, the Council's main defense was useless. "Our shields are failing across the fleet," reported a Council officer. "Their weapons are adapting to our defenses." The hunter-killer drones launched from the human ships like a plague of metal insects. They swarmed over the Council vessels, learning from each attack and becoming deadlier with every passing second. Supreme Chancellor Kolfak watched the battle from his office in the Council chambers. His fleet was being destroyed with terrifying efficiency. In 30 minutes, he had lost 200 ships. The humans had not lost a single vessel. "Send a surrender signal," he ordered his communications officer. "Sir, the military says they can still win," the officer replied nervously. "Look at the screen," Kolfak shouted. "We're being slaughtered. Send the surrender now." The transmission went out on all frequencies, but Admiral Rodriguez ignored it. The humans continued their attack, destroying Council ships one by one. They were not interested in surrender. They wanted complete victory. Captain Ben Foster piloted the UES Retribution through the wreckage of the Council fleet. His ship's weapons had destroyed 12 enemy vessels, and he was hunting for more. The alien ships were trying to retreat, but the human destroyers were faster. "Target the engines," Foster ordered his weapons officer. "Don't let any of them escape." The human fleet moved like a pack of wolves, surrounding their prey and cutting off all escape routes. The Council ships that tried to flee were hunted down and destroyed. Those that tried to hide were found by the AI systems and eliminated. In the Council chambers, Ambassador Zethkar was trying to escape through a secret passage when human soldiers found him. Commander Lisa Grant and her boarding team had landed on the planet while the space battle raged above. "Ambassador Zethkar," Grant said, pointing her weapon at him, "you're under arrest for war crimes against humanity." "You can't do this," Zethkar protested. "I have diplomatic immunity." "That ended when you murdered our people," Grant replied coldly. "Move." The humans had not just come to destroy the Council fleet. They had come to capture the leaders responsible for the massacre. Special Forces teams landed in cities across the planet, hunting down everyone who had voted to kill the colonists. Within 6 hours, the entire Council fleet was destroyed. Not a single ship escaped. The human fleet took position in orbit around the planet, their weapons aimed at the surface. Admiral Rodriguez stood before the surviving Council members in their own chambers. Many of the leaders were dead or captured, but those who remained sat in terrified silence. "The Galactic Council is hereby dissolved," Rodriguez announced. "Your military forces are destroyed. Your leaders are either dead or in custody. Your authority over this galaxy is ended." Supreme Chancellor Kolfak, now a prisoner in his own chambers, tried one last time to negotiate. "Admiral, surely we can work out some kind of arrangement. The Council has resources, technology, trade agreements." Rodriguez turned to look at him. "You had one chance to avoid this. When our colonists arrived at New Eden, you could have warned them away. You could have explained your laws. Instead, you chose to murder them without warning." "We were protecting our territory," Kolfak said weakly. "And we're protecting our species," Rodriguez replied. "The difference is that we're better at it than you are." The human AI systems had already taken control of the Council's communication networks. Across the galaxy, the news was spreading. The Galactic Council had fallen. Humanity was now the dominant military power in this region of space. On New Eden, Captain Jake Morrison stood beside a memorial erected for the 50,000 murdered colonists. The planet was beautiful and peaceful again, but it would always be remembered as a graveyard. "They're gone," he said to the memorial stone. "All of them, but they didn't die for nothing. The galaxy knows now that humans are not victims." Admiral Rodriguez joined him at the memorial. The old soldier looked tired, but satisfied. "Do you think we did the right thing?" Jake asked. Doc Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. "They killed our people without warning, without mercy, without reason. They thought we were weak and helpless. We showed them they were wrong. And now? Now the galaxy knows that humanity can be peaceful, but we can also be deadly. Maybe that will prevent future massacres. Maybe other species will think twice before attacking human civilians." Above them, the Primeval fleet maintained its orbit. The ships would stay there for a while, making sure the galaxy understood the new reality. Humanity had learned to explore space peacefully, but they had never forgotten how to fight Dot in the ruins of the council chambers. Arya analyzed the tactical data from the battle. I had learned valuable lessons about alien technology. And Ta